All right. We on.
We are on.
Esther, how we doing?
Good.
Gotta look good for our people, man.
Phone's on silent.
Episode 1 in that.
Episode 1.
The podcast has started, by the way.
It has started.
Yeah, so
officially.
we're just rolling with it. How you
So-
doing, man?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah?
What about yourself?
I'm good, man. How's
Yeah.
2022 treating you?
It's been pretty
Eventful?
pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty
Nothing
standard,
much?
You know,
Yeah?
just living
What have you
life.
been doing?
The common cycle, just work
Yeah.
and sleep.
Yeah, nothing's been happening for me either,
Yeah.
man. Just chilling, paying attention to TV. No good programs on, but yeah.
Except for Moon Knight.
Moon Eye. So are we going to talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, we'll
we're
talk
gonna
about Moon Knight. Obviously, this is episode 1 of the podcast. Great to have you guys here. We have a few topics today.
We do.
On my agenda, what's happened?
You guys forgot to introduce yourself.
We'll keep rolling. All of this is going on the tube.
No edits.
By the way, person behind the camera is Esther. Esther,
Hi, Esther.
you can't see
Everyone say
Esther,
hi,
but
Esther.
Esther's
So
open now.
this is the quarterly report
Come on. With Smitty and Preezy.
with Smitty and Preezy. So I'm Smitty and he's Preezy.
What up? What's good?
Yeah. We have normal names. That's not our parents didn't name us those things.
We can't give you our government name quite yet. But yeah, we have names.
Yeah.
Actually, that's Prosper.
Yeah, this is Prosper and I am Luke.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's on your agenda, man?
Well, I sort of wanted to go over this. Basically, my vision for starting this podcast was I was like, hey, Prosper, we have cool conversations about random stuff. Why don't we record it and make a podcast out of it?
So when I asked agenda, I was asking for today. What's your plan?
Yeah. I'm just saying
you're
my
giving us a
plan is
plan.
to explain.
Fantastic.
Oh, sorry.
No. Keep going, man.
And so basically we brainstormed a bit and we were like, let's do a report on what's happened in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Highlights, things that we've learned.
Hence the quarterly report.
The quarterly report.
Yeah. We ran these by our head producer, director, chairman, Esther.
Yeah.
She's giving us the okay. Nothing
has.
bad here. No crazy. It's told not to do any conspiracy theories.
No conspiracy theories.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Yeah, it'll take some time.
Maybe a later episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
listen, on my agenda, some light stuff. The Rock and Will Smith. I'm sure you've heard something that's going on around there.
Who's The Rock?
I don't know. I said The Rock. My bad. Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Rock. The Rock and Will Smith would be a different situation. Yeah. No.
I'm seeing Chris Rock later
Chris
this
Rock.
year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he coming to Sydney?
Yeah. Apparently in November.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Some predictions for this year, and
Ooh.
some news on Sydney.
Some news
What about
on
you,
Sydney.
man?
That sounds
What we're
good.
gonna talk about with you?
Well, I wanted to go over just some general events. So I've written quite a lot of different events, but I probably won't read all of them because
Sure.
will be here until next month, and so we don't want to go over that. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been happening across the world
Yeah.
and some of the movies that have come out, specifically animation.
Oh.
There's been some interesting ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that's like a box office hit,
Sure.
we'll probably cover it. Sorry about those indie film people. I don't know.
We don't watch those.
I haven't watched any.
We don't watch
so
those.
I
Unfortunately.
don't really have any expertise on that. But yeah,
No, they're good movies, but I don't know.
they're
Not
just
much
hard to
talk about.
find.
Yeah, and I'm also not artistic with my language like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like this was uncovering the helms of. Couldn't tell you, man. Nothing.
It looks at the beauty of
beauty.
human nature.
The deep photosynthesis. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you, man. Hey, listen. Let's get started, I think.
Yeah.
Chris Rock and Will Smith. So, for those of you that don't know, can you fill us in? There's the Oscars and...
So the Oscars
Uh-huh.
are an award ceremony where
Jesus,
so at the Oscars, I'm sure you all know what they are. There's there was a joke made about Will Smith's wife.
G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. Jane, he said, Jada, I can't wait for G.I. Jane 2.
Yep.
Right? If you've ever seen a picture of the cover of the film G.I. Jane, you'd understand that he's talking about her hairstyle.
Sure.
That she's shaved it all off, just like G.I. Jane has fully shaved hair.
Yep.
But Will Smith seemed to take it a bit personally. And so we see shots of him laughing about it, and then 1 second he starts walking up onto stage, which is quite a long stage. And
it was weird too.
It was very strange.
He literally, it was the distance from, I don't know, camera to here, which is what? No, probably even further.
Probably further.
He gets up, Chris Rock's literally standing there, still delivering jokes, people are laughing. At that, I don't.
Oh, he calls him Richard, which is really funny. Yeah, he starts walking up and he's like, "Oh, Richard," because King Richard, the movie that he was in, that he was nominated for.
Yeah, got you.
And so I heard him say it. I was like, "What's Richard?" And then I was like, "Oh, King Richard, the movie."
That could mean something else as well, but hey, I don't think that's what he meant. I don't think that's what he meant. But it was weird, man.
Yeah. And then he walked up and he gave him a good smack to the face.
That's what I'm saying.
And he copped it. He was just like,
here's the
Will
thing.
Smith just smacked the crap out. He said a different word. He smacked something out of me.
But here's the thing. I don't watch the Oscars. I don't think he watched the Oscars.
No.
I didn't even know the Oscars were on.
I knew that they were on at some point, but I didn't know it was going to happen.
There you go.
Week.
But when the whole thing happened, it was just I didn't even know it was real. You know what I mean? When
it looked
something
staged.
I don't know what I'm seeing here.
A lot of people were sold by Will Smith going back to his seat and then going, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth."
Yeah. Which was crazy.
He said it twice.
The second time he was
Chris Rock's like, I'm going to.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, what's going on?
Do you think... I don't know. I like Will Smith, man. He's a really good actor. He seems like a really good guy.
Produced Bel Air.
Produced Bel Air.
Yeah.
Great show.
Great show.
Do you think that reaction was... Oh, man, how do you say it without offending someone? Do you think that reaction was him defending his wife or him doing it out of some kind of principle of I'm not going to be embarrassed in front of everyone?
I feel like it was a bunch of different things. He was defending his own honor, I guess, in a way, which kind of seems a bit selfish. But
that's what you do.
You have a certain image of you and your partner, as a united front, and he sort of maybe felt like he was being attacked for the way that his wife looked.
I reckon it's because of all the situations that's happened with the entanglement and how he's been kind of he's been perceived, I think, as the joke of that relationship.
Of the pair, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She came out and then because I think he admitted to them having an open relationship as well, but when she came out and said what she said, he was the one that was visibly upset about the whole thing, if you remember.
He was made to look a fool.
He was made to look a fool, so he probably felt, I don't know. Joe Rogan explained it really well. I think it was just a weird situation. But anyway, we digress. Will Smith got punished. He said his apologies to the Academy, not to Chris Rock, by the way. He got punished. I think he's been given, Esther, was it 10 years?
10 years.
10 years not going to the Oscars.
Not allowed to the Oscars for 10 years.
For you and me, it's out. That means nothing.
I'll be in my 30s.
Yeah, but it means nothing still. Nobody goes to the Oscars. Do you know what I mean? I really hope I don't become an actor and
and then you get Frostbone Cusa.
No, this is tough. Anyway,
Oscar
the question
nominee.
I'm asking, so we know Will Smith was punished. We can argue about the severity of the punishment or whatever. I'm going to ask the flip question because this is what a lot of people perhaps might have not asked or have already asked. Should Chris Rock have been punished for citing the event?
Like the joke that he made.
for the joke that he made. Because, like, supposedly, I'm not going to make light of it, you know, she was offended or to whatever degree. And it caused the whole, you know, fiasco. Should the Oscars not look at inviting Chris Rock again? I imagine they won't. Or something like that. Should they look at punishing Chris Rock as well? Should he have been punished?
I think that if they did, it sort of sets a new precedent for comedy. Because, like, it was a bad joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't that funny, like...
It was alright.
G.I. Jane is a 2002 movie, like...
Yeah.
I've never seen G.I. Jane. I didn't know who G.I. Jane was. I thought that he was making a joke saying that instead of G.I. Joe, it's G.I. Jane.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's...
Yep.
I didn't even realize there was a movie that was
Yep.
titled that, where the lead was a female actress that had, like... Female actress. An actress that had, like, a shaved head. Like, I didn't really pick that up until after I searched it up and I was like, oh, it's an actual movie.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think you punish a comedian who's hosting for making a bad joke because he didn't know how Will Smith was going to react. He just made a joke.
Yes.
Maybe he made it up on the spot. Maybe he
No, you're right. It wasn't that
empted
deep.
it. Like, it might have...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it was that deep. I don't think that was, worth all that. But my question is, what would you, Luke Smith, what would you have done? It's easy to say Will Smith overreacted, he acted correctly, but what would you have done? I'm putting you on the spot a bit.
If I was Chris Rock or if I was Will Smith?
If you were Chris Rock.
If I was Chris Rock and I'd made a probably bad joke. And I was like...
Say all of that considered.
Yeah.
Will Smith comes up.
Will Smith comes...
He slaps you.
Slaps me right in the face.
Yeah. You made the joke and everything.
I wouldn't know what to do.
I'd
just like stand there and like, you know how we have like 3 different options. We either freeze, we fight, or we fly.
Yeah.
Like I'd be stuck in freeze mode. I'd be like,
what do I do? Yep.
what just happened?
Exactly. Yep.
I feel like he really pulled himself together and was able to make a joke out of it. And that was like the fact that he was like, this is the biggest event in television history. Like he really pulled himself together. I don't feel like I'd be able to do that. It's very brave of him to keep going.
Yeah.
Because he could have just been like, oh guys, I'm gonna step off.
I'm done. I'm not trying to do
this
exactly.
person.
Well, what I think was that could have caused a lot of knee-jerk reactions from other people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you talked about the freeze, flight, and fight.
Yeah, fight and flight, yeah.
Like at that moment, those 3 options just flash in front of your head. You don't even know what to pick.
No.
And you're like, you pick this. You
automatically do what you're used to.
Yeah, man. No,
what about yourself? What would you do if you got smacked in the face up on stage in front of
I don't know
how many people?
I don't know. Like, I probably would have, like, whatever those 3 options were, like, if they were presented to me in front, like, I get slapped, and then instantly I'm overwhelmed with emotions. What do I do? It would be like that first knee-jerk reaction. Like, if I try to defend myself, then I'm not stopping, sort of thing. But if I freeze, then I'm frozen as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if I take off, that's what I'm doing. So I don't know as well.
Yeah, it's always that possibility that you might just start hitting back. You'll be like, bro, you want to go, mate?
That's what I thought. I was like, this man is well within his right, Chris Rock.
Oh, yeah, self-defense.
Oh, man, slap the hell out of Will Smith. But, hey, it's good people.
Like, he could have pressed charges for assault.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah, no, that's not what you're doing in our community. You got to pull up on him. You got to ask him, hey, was that correct what you did?
Pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's right.
Is that...
What do you have on the agenda? I'm done with the Will Smith thing. I want to be the dead horse. Got an eyelash in my eye. Excuse me. I'm good.
That's generally where they go.
You're funny, you are.
Anyway.
Eyelashes is where they go. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. So, this last 3 months have been very big.
You reckon?
Across the world, yeah. Obviously, the release of Morbius on March 31st. Biggest event in cinema history.
You said this last 3 months has been
Yeah. It's all been
Morbius.
building up to Morbius on the 31st
Thanks,
of
man.
March.
Yeah, Morbius.
It was actually released on the 1st of April in the US. So it doesn't. Any US listeners,
Yeah.
this doesn't count. So go on and skip to the time code because you didn't get it in the first quarter of the year. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Esther, is that still recording? The camera? Oh, okay, all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, no one cares
Morbius,
about
man.
Morbius. There was a meme that was like, "Oh, be careful out there."
Yeah.
I had 2 tickets to Morbius in my car,
Oh,
and
jeez.
someone broke in and left 4 more.
You gassed me out of that movie. Like, I really wanted to go watch that movie, and now I'm just... literally, I woke up yesterday, I was like, all right, when was it? Friday. Now, I sat at home. I had, the option of going in the morning. I'm like, should I go? Literally, I just said no. This man literally explained to me how this is the worst movie that's been made in I don't know how long. Also, boring.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's
That's
very
how
boring.
people have been delivering it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's sad, man. Been waiting all this time and gonna make a movie about...
Finally, a Marvel movie about vampire,
Jeez. And then you
about
make
Draculas.
They make it like Hamlet, apparently. To be or not to
okay.
be. I don't know. But yeah, no, good. Morbius. I think what you were trying to talk about in the last 3 months, I'm sure something else happened. there.
Something else. I don't know if you guys have heard of Russia
Yeah.
or the Ukraine,
Yeah.
but there's some countries in our global
That is a
global economy.
Sure.
What? I
Let's
don't know.
call it.
There's some countries
Yeah,
that
global
exist in the
countries.
world.
Yeah.
The global countries.
Yep. A
Whatever
global
that
country.
means.
Russia's big, by the way.
Yes, massive.
I had to look, I knew it was the biggest country, but first of all, it's the biggest country in Asia. Which should tell you something, because Asia's huge, humongous.
Yeah,
But,
they're massive. Like the land mass of that
it is
country
humongous, man. They go all the way, obviously, Eastern Europe, but then they're even closer to, America than... How do you say this? They're extremely close to Alaska. It's one of those,
Really?
Russia's...
Oh, right, because on the other side.
Exactly.
Because I'm picturing on the map you have Alaska on the left side, and then you have
No.
but it's a globe.
Exactly. They're like
The Earth is
USA
flat.
here.
Oh, sorry, no conspiracy.
hey.
Sorry.
Go there if you want. No. But yeah, USA here, and then all the European countries like
They're
Finland,
like
Norway.
fully right next to each other.
They're crazy, man. But hey, no, that's just on a side note. But yeah, they've been involved in some dispute with Ukraine.
With the Ukraine, yes. So, the sort of events that led up to it. I was sort of listening to some news
Sure.
podcasts. I know, preparing for a podcast by listening to other podcasts.
I couldn't
Crazy.
do it, man. I couldn't do it.
But I was listening to it, and there was stuff about there's troops coming in. There's troops coming in. We don't know what it is, but Russia's saying there's nothing to worry about. And there was this one guy who he went into the Ukraine, and I think he was like a correspondent there.
Sure.
And he was saying it's really weird seeing all these soldiers around, and the people are just living their life. They don't care. They're like, oh, there's Russian soldiers. Yeah, they've just come for their special military operation. They don't have anything to do with us. It's fine. It's all good. And for this Australian guy, he's an Australian correspondent, I'm pretty sure. He was like, oh, it's surreal seeing this, because if there was any military occupation or just people from even our own military around my area, I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, what's going on? Is there a problem?
Yeah.
But these people were just living their life. Kids were out in the street playing ball.
Yeah. I think it
And-
speaks to... sorry, you keep going.
And then the next day,
Yeah.
or it was probably a week later, because I was listening to each day's podcast.
Right.
A week later, it was
That's when
They've
the invasion...
attacked.
Yeah, got you.
yeah. Sorry, you were saying it says something about...
No, first and foremost, I don't know if it's because we live in Australia and, we kind of live separate from those parts of the world, but
Yeah.
Russia, Ukraine, apparently they just have deep history with each other, and you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where they're not exactly similar in language, but obviously they share those, what is it, lexicals?
Origins,
Yeah,
yeah.
origins and lexical similarities in
Yes,
the
yeah,
languages.
they use the same set of letters,
Right.
Cyrillic
There you go.
alphabet.
And then they, you know, especially on the eastern part of Ukraine, like a lot of those people actually see themselves as Russia. So, you know, that part of history.
They're more Russian-speaking people.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
So I don't exactly, you know, I don't want to insert my opinion as if it's like the be all end all, but it is unfortunate that they're being invaded like that. But
yeah.
obviously there was motivation. Like, it's not like it came out of nowhere. I think that's easy to interpret information given to you as if it's, oh yeah, Russia's just taking over Ukraine because this man is power hungry. That might be
Yeah.
true, and I think that's also correct, mind you.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is, you know, the whole NATO thing and them establishing camp around and near Russia, you know, so a lot of motives, and unfortunately it's kind of caused that.
There's a lot of sort of mixed signals that caused it. And like one of the things that happened on the 4th of February, China and Russia stated their opposition to NATO expansion,
Interesting.
and they expressed a serious concern about the AUKUS,
AUKUS, yep.
the AUKUS Security Pact.
Yep.
And they said that they would cooperate with each other on a range of issues.
Yeah.
And so sort of all this stuff sort of happened on the 21st of February. Vladimir Putin signed a decree declaring that the Luhansk People's Republic and the Donetsk People's Republic were independent from Ukraine.
Sure.
And that was when they started moving troops into the area.
Sure.
But the UN basically condemned it and were preparing to like implement the sanctions that we now see in place today.
Yep.
And so, like, on the 23rd, Russia started getting sanctions. So that was 2 days later.
How crazy is that if you're a Russian? Your money literally dipped in value. Your currency dipped in value like, what was it, 40%, 50%?
Did I say the UN? The EU. The European
I
Union.
think that's what,
Yeah. They restricted access to the financial market. But on the 24th of February, that was when the full-scale invasion actually took place. And sort of around the globe, that was when we
it's been
started
that
to
long.
see. Yeah.
That was what, like
So it's been
month
2
ago?
months ago. Almost
Almost
2
getting
months.
towards
A month
2
and a
months.
half.
Yeah, not crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez, Ukraine.
And so like some of the responses that we see is like Russia was stripped of the Champions League final,
Yep.
which was going to be on the 28th of May.
Yep.
Putin decided that he wanted the nuclear deterrent forces on special alert
There you
because
go.
NATO had apparently issued aggressive statements.
I know you don't watch, but Roman Abramovich, Chelsea owner, he's been forced to sell his team. That team's
right.
been, yeah, it's just Chelsea's a team in the Premier League, obviously, but yeah, that team's kind of been, you know, you don't think about how much that affects your team, but it obviously has, just because Chelsea was doing really strong at the start of the year, and I know you don't watch Premier League again.
Is Chelsea like
Chelsea's a football team,
Okay.
But they're Russian owned. The owner
I
was
see.
that guy that I mentioned, Roman
Yeah.
Abramovich, billionaire. But yeah, man, been forced to sell his team. I'm pretty sure his property in England as well, like his properties in
Yeah.
England. So yeah, man.
You see a lot of different sort of actions across the world. Like there was sanctions and even I think there was a $24 million or $31 million boat that was
Jeez.
seized in the UK
Yeah, there you go.
that was owned by like a Russian oligarch.
That would have been him,
So
because he has like a massive yacht.
right
over
I
there
think
that
it
he-
might have been
him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so sort of March 1st, World Athletics banned Russia and Belarus. UN states passed a resolution that deplored the invasion.
Yep.
And Russia was going crazy. Like they seized a port city. There was on the 2nd of March, there was over 1 million refugees that had fled
Yeah.
from Ukraine.
Yep. Yeah, because they were trying to get to. I think now they're going to Poland because
Yeah, I
Poland's
think so.
allowing refugees over there. That's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
And so the International Criminal Court started to investigate potential war crimes that had been committed by Russia in the Ukraine.
Yeah. You think there's flyovers still? Like if you're trying to get to, I don't know, where are you trying to get to? Because Russia's not really a flyover spot, actually, is it?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think there would be much flyover Ukraine still, because there's still a little bit of conflict, but
I think it's still big there.
it has. Russia did say, "Oh, we're gonna bring it down." I think, where was it? On the 29th of March, the deputy defense minister, said that Moscow has decided to, quote, fundamentally cut back military activity in the direction of Kiev and Chernihiv.
Yeah, there you go.
Chernihiv, I think.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
In order to increase the mutual trust for future negotiations to agree and sign a peace deal with Ukraine. So I don't know whereabouts that's at the moment.
Yeah.
But that sort of came up in at the end of March. But yeah, so like Russia did an airstrike in Mariupol that actually destroyed a hospital, and it took out the maternity and children's ward, and all these sort of things. Like 30 Russian missiles that hit the Yavoriv military base, which killed 35 people and injured 134 others. Like all of this stuff, like we're just living our life here,
Yeah.
and over in the Ukraine, like
Yeah.
just
Mind you,
so
not
much is
unaffected, but obviously not to
yeah.
the extent that these people are.
Yeah, like one of the sanctions that sort of came through on the 8th of March was that all the US and the UK started to ban Russian oil, and the EU reduced their demand for Russian gas by 2/3.
Jeez.
So a lot has sort of happened over the last sort of 3 months.
Yeah.
Or 2 months, I guess, since February.
I feel kind of bad saying this, but it was like this weird. You can keep it. You can just restart it. Yeah, you can. I feel kind of weird saying this, but it's like when the war happened, there was like one of those. I don't want to call it excitement, like I was giddy for war, but it like woke me up. Like, oh my gosh, like stuff is happening. Like it kept me on my toes, because for the longest time I was thinking, all right, this Russia-Ukraine thing could happen, but that was kind of pushed aside.
Yeah.
I was more thinking, all right, China, Taiwan, that's going to happen, and that's going to get us involved for some reason. So when that happened, in my head, like, the gears just started turning. I'm like, all right, what does this mean? Does this then kind of give China this, I don't know, motivation to go ahead and take Taiwan? Does that mean that Australians are going to have to start getting conscripted and like the whole thing?
It sort of makes you think like, oh, am I gonna have to like fight in the war? And then you get like these visions of bravado. Oh yeah, I'm gonna like go in and like be a soldier and do all this stuff. I don't know about you.
I'm not a war man. I just know this, man. Like
I played too much Call of Duty.
You play Call of Duty? Yeah, no, I've seen war. I haven't seen it. I've seen it on TV. It looks awful on TV. I can't imagine it in real life. It's just one of those things that I don't like seeing blood. I feel like the first thing I see, I'll puke or something. So it's not for me, I'm afraid. But
yeah, fair enough.
Hey, look, it is what it is. But yeah, Russia, Ukraine, man, crazy stuff.
Big stuff.
I have something I want to talk about. It kind of ties in with this whole thing of predictions for this year, but no, I'm just gonna say it. Did you know we're trying again to go to the moon?
No.
We're trying again, man.
I didn't know that.
We're trying again to go to the moon. So, and apparently we've been trying for a time. So, NASA.
First I've heard.
That's what I'm saying, man. NASA had a third attempt in the last, I don't know how long, but it was a recent thing at going to the moon. But the article I read is there was a malfunctioning valve that stopped us from going to the moon or whatever. It was very sad. I'll send you the article. My question to you is, man, will we ever live in space? Will we live in space in our lifetime?
well, not like in space, but like like another planet
on
or
another
another
planet.
celestial body. So
Not
to
in
speak.
space, I should say that. I don't know. Space, yes, on
Yeah,
the moon or something.
anywhere other than Earth.
Yeah.
I think it's really tough to do anything like that. Like, even if you look at the atmosphere on Mars, it's completely different, and we would die if we breathed the air on Mars.
There you go.
And just to terraform a planet that big, I don't know how you'd manage to do it, but it'd be pretty hard.
It didn't excite me, just because even before looking at science, because I didn't understand terraform with the locus, I didn't understand. So in my head, just living on like outside of Earth, I'm just so good, man. Like I feel like there's so much of Earth I haven't seen.
Like what would you do? I'm gonna go out and collect moon rocks.
So when people
like,
are
what
telling
am I gonna do there?
and I don't understand space at all. Like, so when people were saying, like, even now, as you were explaining, oh, we got to start terraforming it, all that stuff is alien to me. Like, what does that mean? We got to start coming in, digging dirt, and setting room up for the...
it's like you've got to like change the environment so much that it means that the environment is friendly to like plant
for
life,
us to live.
and then you grow plants.
Yeah, got you.
And then the plants will produce like more oxygen, hopefully.
Yeah,
And
shut
the
up.
oxygen will help the atmosphere. But I don't actually know what the makeup is of the atmosphere there. I just know it's not very human friendly. On Mars.
Yep.
And on the moon there's no atmosphere at all. So
Right.
there's nothing.
Jeez.
There's no air, nothing. That's why so they did that test with the hammer and the feather on the moon. They dropped them both at the same time.
Right, this whole thing.
And they both landed on the surface at the same time because there's no air resistance.
Yep.
Because there's no air.
Yeah.
Because like when we think of air, it's like, oh yeah, air is not a thing.
Whereas-
Air doesn't exist. It does.
The space is a vacuum sort of thing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, space is a vacuum.
Yeah, got you. That raises a lot of questions. My conspiracy brethren out there, I'll leave that for you. The moon, hey? Yeah, interesting topic that is. On a separate topic,
Let me read something for you that I just think is crazy. So, you've seen what the last 2 years look like. COVID, everything's kind of just gone crazy. The used car market has gone insane. You can't really buy used cars for the same price that they used to be, mainly in the four-wheel drive sort of section.
Yeah.
But, you know, most other used cars, I'm sure you'd be fine. Inflation. Coffee prices, set to increase here in Sydney up to $7 a cup.
What?
$7
Since
a cup.
when?
Man.
Oh my gosh.
I like, and you know how good coffee here is in Australia. It is.
Coffee's great.
I don't like to brag. I've been traveled international in that. I've had coffee from various amount of places. It is
Italy?
shambles. I've had it in Italy. Italy wasn't bad. It is shambles everywhere else on the planet.
Right.
Coffee is it's this weird dirt and water mix. It's disgusting, bro. In the U.S., you know how much I love America. I love America. I went up. They're like, oh, you got a creamer, and it was just wrong. So I don't like that.
Sad.
$7 a cup.
Very sad.
Now,
$7
I'm not trying to focus on the coffee.
Yeah.
Sydney's median house price. This is the thing that I saw that I thought maybe would interest you. According to an article by ABC News, Sydney's median house price is $1.6 million. Median house price.
So that's like the middle one.
The middle one.
Not to be confused with mean.
Yeah.
Because if it was mean or average, then I saw this meme where it wasn't a meme, it was like a screen grab of this person. They said, oh, the median price is 1.6 million. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll take the top price off the top. And they're like, okay, the median price is 1.6 million. Because it's the middle price. Like if you have all the price in a list and then you take the last one off, that's still probably the middle price.
Yeah, because what is it? It's looking at like the clusters usually, right? It's like the cluster in the middle of the, gotcha.
Because it's like even if you took out like median is not affected by outliers.
Yeah, it's gotcha.
It's like if you listed every single house price
Right.
along a list, and you're like, which one is right in the middle?
It's always going to be
And
the
you-
thorn in the middle.
Obviously, you're not just listing it all in a random order. It's
Got
in
you.
order of the lowest to the highest.
Got you.
But yes, yeah.
So my question was,
Sorry, there's some statistics 101 for
man,
you.
shout out. That wasn't my favorite class at uni. Statistics. Oh man,
I'm doing it next term. It's fun.
yeah,
Exciting.
yeah, enjoy that, man.
Not really.
This quote that I saw: Sydney's a livable city if you've got a lot of money. Do you agree?
Sydney is a livable city if you
you've got-
have a lot of money.
Yeah. So there's like a world list that talks about the most livable cities. Sydney's like top 15, top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Like quality of life.
Quality of life, just everything, like your transport, everything in terms of its development. Sydney and Melbourne. Melbourne's above Sydney, I'm pretty sure, but Sydney and Melbourne, they're up there, top 15, top 10. Melbourne was like number 2 or 3 for a couple of years in a
Feel
row.
like, oh, I might be wrong about this. Excuse me. From what I've heard, Hong Kong is actually like really good. Shut up.
Shut up. Esther, come on, man. You should be preaching about that
I
place,
think she's
man.
got her AirPods in.
Nah, that's
She can't hear us.
Yeah, she didn't.
Oh, okay.
And everything. Director chairman.
Hong Kong is like. Well, I don't know about other cities, but
Yep.
I know that they have really good public transport.
Sure.
They've got like, I guess I don't know how much the housing is, but too much.
She said
Yeah,
too
it
much.
is quite expensive
Yeah.
to live there. But like in terms of quality of life, like it's pretty good, except for the really high suicide rates, because there's very high expectations in
Damn.
business and academia. So maybe it's not livable. I don't know.
That you've gone deeper than I
But Sydney, I think Sydney is probably pretty good. But only if you have money, because if you don't have like a job,
Yeah.
you don't have an income, any sort of like monetary worth. It's probably a weird
If you
word
have
to
no
use.
money.
If you have no money, like
Yeah.
if you don't have any wealth to spend on things and to like live in a house and stuff like that, then
It's not
it's
ideal.
really difficult.
Really
to
is
get
not
along.
ideal.
Like people just sit on the streets.
Yep.
Apparently less than in America. Apparently there's a
Per
lot
capita
more.
or?
Observationally,
Sure.
anecdotally, not,
Yeah.
probably not statistically.
Yeah, okay.
You have to look into it.
Look, I agree. So I was asking, Sydney is a livable city if you've got a lot of money.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
it's super hard to live in Sydney if you don't
Yeah.
have money.
I would probably only counter that by saying it's like if you have a good support group, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not necessarily like a high earner, but I've got family over here, so I'm, you know what I mean? Like that works to your favor as well.
Yeah, like
got
if you
people
if
able
you
to
have
help
people
you.
around you, you like maybe you're in a group house or something.
Exactly. People willing to help you. You guys are able to split costs and stuff. I think Sydney is good. Now, I ask all that to say, coffee $7 and used car market, that's global, and house prices. Is it worth staying? I've been tossing up with kind of how the economy's, here's economy speech from Preezy, with how the economy is kind of looking and people working from home and everything like that. Dude, I don't know if it's worth it to stay in Sydney versus going out somewhere in the country, owning like a house that you can afford,
That you can afford.
living there and working from home. And when you need to go to Sydney,
Yeah, working
you
from
go to
home.
Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what that, like if that's, I haven't explored that option, so I don't know.
No, it's tough because, like, if you can find a job that's willing to let you be remote,
Yeah.
and you get paid enough to live somewhere that's like
Yep.
cheaper,
We have, I don't know about
I'd go
like
for
where you were working before, but like we have someone that lives in Orange. Like our boss lives
at your workplace.
at my workplace, and our boss lives even further up. Like he's in,
Wow.
like he's I think further than Central Coast. Like he's north.
Wow.
One of us is Sydney. One of us is like southeast. So it's like we're all scattered. We don't have like a central place of working. But that's worked really well for us because we're not dependent on each other being around each other. But I don't know. I look at living in Sydney and what it's offering, and
I don't know. It's something I'm weighing up in the future. Or like, would I want to move? Would I want to go somewhere else? A lot of people move into the country. I'd like a big country home. I don't know. Maybe something that younger people, Gen Z, millennials, should start thinking about.
Yeah.
You know?
It's very interesting because I have one friend who sort of, his parents wanted to move to the country to get away from like the city life and whatever, or the suburban life, and like they wanted to live out on like some acreage or some like a big plot of land and be able to afford it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my friend really hated how slow the internet was.
Oh, snap, yeah.
Because there wasn't like any NBN or any like lines that would go out that far.
He's in the country at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
got you.
so like the only option for their whole family was to have like satellite internet that would come and like it was horrible. And we, as a friend group,
Yeah.
we would all play games together.
Gotcha.
But this one friend could only play like sometimes when the satellite's good, and when the satellite's bad, it's not good. And like even when we would play together as a whole group,
Yeah.
like my friend would just like get disconnected randomly,
Yeah,
or
got you.
like just not be able to play very much. Like,
Yeah.
my friend would try and download a game and it'd take like days, and then we'd be like further ahead,
Those days,
and
yeah.
and then like it'd be like an online group thing, and then it's like, oh,
Got you.
we've already beaten half the levels, come join our
Yeah.
like squad or whatever.
Yeah.
But like they would miss out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's, I don't want to call them sacrifices to be made, but yeah, there's definitely stuff that you'd miss out on.
Yeah. But I think the internet has gotten better out more.
Probably so,
rural
yeah.
areas.
There's definitely room for improvement with that.
Mobile data's
Telecoms.
a lot better nowadays as well.
Yeah, I think just in general, like the telecoms infrastructure there's room for improvement. It's not awful, but if you've been to, like in Japan, bro, oh man, like I've never had nothing that fast before in my life.
Like
This was
the
like,
internet's really good.
the internet is phenomenal, man. Like, I was on,
I think Australia is probably one of the worst.
it's ridiculous. I was sending a thing on WhatsApp, like the first time we arrived there, we were in the hotel, and it was like a 3 gigabyte file that I had saved on my phone. or
File. I
something.
thought you were saying like you sent like a photo or
It
something.
wouldn't have been 3, like whatever the size was, because I think WhatsApp has like its limits. But it was a big file.
Yeah.
Like, if I tried to do it in Sydney, it would take some time.
Oh, I try and send a picture and it's like loading,
Dog, you gotta
loading,
start
loading. It's like
giving
I
your
send
passport and everything. It takes too long.
I send it to someone and then like 2 minutes later,
Yeah.
it'll like come up saying your message has failed. Try again or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the heck?
What are we doing? And so it's like,
Yeah.
just seeing that shows me that, I don't know. I asked that question to say, Sydney is not everything. It is great. It is fantastic. But, I don't know. Maybe as younger people, we have like this weird or unique opportunity where, I don't know, if we really wanted to, we could test it out somewhere else. We could really see, hey, like, is it worth it for me to stay in Sydney and, buy a house here, set up life here? Or, like, say for me, I've
Test the
always...
water somewhere else.
Test the water somewhere else. Like, I've always looked at America, and I know that's a place where Esther's looked at me funny. She's like, America? Where you want to go America for? America.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Maybe that's something that a lot of people are going to consider, and it might even lead to a lot of people leaving Sydney in the near future. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, with interest rates going up, it's anyone's guess as to what happens because I'm no economist.
Shout out. Economy.
I did it in high school, but I've forgotten most of it.
Math. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Ross.
That was his name, Mr.
That was
Ross.
my economics teacher.
Shout
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Shout out. But yeah, like, I think that if like house prices go down, it's probably helpful.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. I don't think so, but yeah, we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah, man. What else? I think I've covered most of my topics.
Oh yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about. I found some interesting. Where is it? There was this article here
Which one?
I wasn't really. Oh, no.
I just noticed you broke your laptop. I thought that was a background.
It's broken.
The laptop is all.
Yeah, half of it's broken.
Show
I
the
stepped
people
on it.
on camera.
Oh yeah.
In case they haven't seen.
There you go.
What's happened there?
Half of it's broken. Because it was closed, and then like I stepped on it, and I was like, oh, it's fine. It's all good.
That is not fine.
It wasn't fine.
It is not fine.
It was not fine. Buddy, where is it? Oh. Was it this one?
What was the article?
Oh, Mars meteorite found in Antarctica contains no life, study confirms.
A Mars meteorite.
A meteorite that's from Mars, I think?
Sure.
Yeah.
That would probably be an accurate assumption. Mars meteorite.
And apparently it caused a splash here on Earth in the 90s.
Why are we finding it now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I see.
What?
Scientists confirmed the news yesterday after a NASA-led team announced in 1996 that organic compounds in the rock appeared to have been left by living creatures. But other scientists chipped away over the decades, and recently a team led by the Carnegie Institution for Science's Andrew Steele. So they found out that it's not actually whatever they said in the 90s.
Oh, okay. So
basically.
that's what. What they said in the 90s is not what it is. Now they're saying it's something else.
But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, interesting stuff. There was a lot of stuff that's just like interesting little news articles. Like, did you know that unfortunately, very sadly, on the 19th of January, the man that was said to be the world's oldest man actually died at 112.
This year, was it?
Yeah, January 19.
Would you want to
Just
live
kinda
112 years?
I feel like it would be really difficult because he lived 112 years and 341 days.
Oh, gee.
He was getting so close to
100
113.
years, man.
Yeah, over 100 seems. I don't want to say excessive because maybe that's rude to people who
Some
live.
people
but
want to
like,
live that long. Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like so long. Like.
No, I know
so much
people
would
who
have
want to
changed.
live like forever in that.
Well, yeah.
I'm talking about like currently.
On this, like, because you know we're Christians and like we have certain beliefs about what like eternal life means, but like living like here in this state of things,
That's what
like
I'm
for
saying.
longer than 100 years, you'd be like, oh.
No, but that's
These
the people.
people.
Those are the people that I'm talking. Like they want to live the 150, break that, and still live healthy, and they want to look like they're 70 at 100, and like that kind of thing. I don't know. In my head, living that long, and actually, you know what'd be interesting? You were born 99. I was born 98. Last day of 98.
Yeah.
If we were to live, say, longer than 100, get to 101, 102, 101 still, we would have seen 3 centuries.
3 different centuries.
That's crazy, man.
And 2 different millennia.
And 2 different millennia.
Well, I mean, did we see it? If we were born in that year, does that mean we saw it?
We was part of it.
We were
man.
a part of it.
We were a part
alive.
of that. You can't scratch us out. It said Lou Smith, July 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were part of it. History, baby. Nostradamus. 2 Chainz. The lights.
Oh yeah. This one I found interesting. It said that February 25th, cryptocurrency made it easier than ever for Russia to evade financial sanctions.
I didn't want to bring it up.
I didn't see it. Like I didn't see any articles about that. But when I saw this article, I was like, oh yeah, that's like crazy.
Doesn't China have a government-owned cryptocurrency?
I think they might.
I'm almost certain they were developing it in something like 2020.
Yeah.
And it's been actioned very recently. Or it's on trial. I don't know, but that's crazy, man.
Oh, and there was another one.
Which one?
I don't know. These just seemed really interesting. I know it's all about cryptocurrency, but there's this one that said on the 30th of March, more than $800 million worth of cryptocurrency was stolen from a video game in one of the largest hacks in history.
Yeah, right.
And so it was a hack targeted against a gaming-focused blockchain network that supports a game called Axie Infinity.
Couldn't tell you what that is.
Don't know what it is, but
I played like 2 games, FIFA and Madden.
they made $625 million worth of Ethereum, and USDC, which are like the bigger cryptocurrencies.
Yep.
So they breached the network. What else?
Oh, okay. Maybe it's a topic to end on.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you a question then. Esther, feel free to butt in. This, no, I was gonna say multiverse. What is the thing that...
The Metaverse.
Metaverse, that's the one.
Yeah, that was announced this year.
Was that this year? What are your thoughts?
I think so.
What are your thoughts on people owning? Because I mean, you might even make the claim that crypto is what is it? No, I've lost my train of thought. What are your thoughts on people owning digital property such as like homes, like not just crypto, but like
Owning homes. Oh, I thought you were talking about like in the metaverse, because
in the metaverse is what I
right,
mean.
like paying real money for like plots of land in
exactly
in the
for the
metaverse.
metaverse. What does that world look like?
I actually don't know what the metaverse is.
Neither.
It's like they talk about it, and it's like, where can I find the metaverse? Like, what do I log into it? Is it a game?
I don't know, man.
Like,
It looks so insane. I was like, excuse the pun. It is so meta, because how deep does this thing go? Like, do you own a dog in the metaverse? Do you have to shower your dog and wash him, take him for walks? What do you...
Well, it seems like... So I heard about this where, like, there was a bunch of companies that basically invested millions of dollars into plots of land in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. But I assumed that they wanted to, like, buy advertising space. But, so like... I don't know. I heard these other people talking about it, about, like... Would you want to... So we have a business meeting for our work.
Shut up.
Right? And then it's like, hey, Prosper, let's go and sit. You can stay at home. You sit in your room and put a chunky headset on that's, like, pulling on your head with, like, elastics and stuff. And maybe you have, like, a pad on the back to soften it out and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, the default... Quest 2, like, it has like an elastic strap, and then it's like this big chunk of
that's the thing you brought in
the Quest 2.
Yeah. Look like Mandalorian.
Yeah. Like, do you want to sit there for however many hours doing your work with your other people? Because, like, they want to have those conversations. Oh, we want like a workplace vibe, but you can be at home, but you can talk to your co-workers and, like, do your work. Like, would you want to sit there for hours with, like, this chunky headset on doing work? Like, I've played games on the Quest 2, but playing it for more than, like, an hour, it just gets, like, you get all sweaty, specifically around the part where it, like, touches your face.
Is that right?
And it just, like, it gets hot, and it just, like, pulls on your head, and you might get motion sickness. Some people get motion sick from it.
Yeah.
It's just like, unless they streamline the virtual reality experience and make it more user-friendly, I don't think that the metaverse is worth investing in. Like, it's a waste of their money for them to pay for this land, this fake land in the metaverse that's for a very unclear purpose. Like, they haven't really described, like, what it's for. It's just like, oh, they've bought this land.
But is it a waste if, as soon as you have users on that platform, then perhaps there's, like, obviously you haven't wasted your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in my head, and this is what I meant before about the dog and that was very incoherent, but it's like, is that the intention to move reality into a digital reality?
Space.
So everything you do in life is now done through the virtual space. If you're not getting enough out of life itself in the real, you can now have it in the metaverse, which is what it blows my mind, because you can think these things enough, but someone's actually working on actioning this. And so you can only imagine like how far this will go.
Yeah.
10 years from now, what would that look like? If you were to liken this to, I don't know, like the electric car movement, 10, 20 years ago, we looked at electric cars. We said, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen. But, Tesla's now, they don't have a crazy amount of market share in the world, but they're the most valuable car company in the world. And more than likely in the next 10 years, they'll have like a decent chunk of market share.
Yeah, possibly.
So what does it look like with the metaverse? Will we see people on the bus wearing these things and they're in the metaverse? On the train, if you're at like church, are you gonna see people wearing that? You know what I mean? Birthday parties. That's how deep this thing goes for me. I'm like, what does that mean?
Have you seen the one where they like try and like project like this hologram of like all the other people or something?
Yeah, no,
I don't know. Like
on
the ads
demo?
for the metaverse and
Dog,
the demo.
and then the keynote. Mark Zuckerberg, bro, you need to work on your marketing, man. Because the keynote, he didn't blink. He was all serious.
He's like, no, I'm going to pick my outfit. And he picks the outfit that he is wearing.
He didn't sell it to me. When I saw that day, I was like, man, I don't want, no.
I love all the edits where they put in like, he's like putting on like Goku clothing or something.
Man, the metaverse, I don't know. Maybe Esther likes. Esther, do you like the metaverse?
I've literally never heard of that until this moment.
You've never heard of the metaverse?
I really thought you guys were talking about a video game.
Have you opened Instagram recently?
Yeah.
When you open it, it says Meta at the bottom.
I don't pay attention to that. I go to Instagram to see what my friends are doing.
Some of us use Instagram for what it's intended for. Good.
But,
It's crazy, man.
like here's an article I thought you'd like. The value of Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, just the company, drops by more than most companies are even worth.
Jesus.
So
Well, a couple bill.
so their shares were down as much as 26% as of midday Thursday.
That's
this
big,
was
man.
on the 4th of February. Which shaved off $225 billion with a B dollars from its market value.
Yeah, but
So that was after a rough earnings report after Wednesday.
But that's what I mean with his like that video did nothing to help him or us. We didn't come away from that video thinking, oh, I'm really interested in this Meta thing. Mark looks like a very trustable, dependable guy who's looking out for my well-being. Let me get it. Hell no.
No.
Metaverse with Lizard Man. I'm trying to do this.
Lizard
Oh,
Man.
jeez, bro. Sorry, he doesn't blink, man.
Apparently also, only 31 companies are worth more than the amount that this company lost in value.
225
31.
bill
Yeah,
lost
that's a lot of
from
bloody
one
money, man.
video,
Yeah.
one live stream. He thought it was
Oh
a good
no,
idea.
it was like it was because of
What?
they reported a worse than expected profit decline
Okay,
during the
got
final
you.
3 months of last year. So the previous quarter to the quarter that we
got
just
you,
had.
Got you. Yeah, no.
So
good.
they did their own quarterly report, and it was not a good one.
So right now, out of principle, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not joining Meta
No,
unless I gain something. What are you doing?
what am I doing?
Are you
with
joining
Meta?
the Metaverse? Because you got the.
I don't
Rift.
think I don't like. That's So Raven that was Fetch. They were trying to make Fetch
Can
happen.
gaze into the future.
What
Continue.
I don't know what show it was, but one of the shows there was like a joke in one of, I think it was a Disney show.
Sure.
And they were trying to make Fetch happen. Apparently Fetch is like a phrase.
Okay.
But people say stop trying to make Fetch happen when they're talking about something where someone's trying to like force something on you. Like if I went up to you and said, Prosper, from now on I want you to call me the Tiger.
I'll call you what your mama calls you. Your name is Luke.
It's like,
Your name is Luke.
it's like it feels like
Yeah,
the
gotcha.
metaverse is like the kid coming up to you and saying, I don't go by Luke anymore, I go by Tiger. And you're like,
this is
okay,
this
Tiger.
Is deeper conversation. Man. Yeah, good.
because like there's already a platform for people to go and like be social and
that
have
was
stuff.
the limit.
It's called VR chat. If you've ever seen,
I don't know.
do you know that meme that's like, sorry if this is offensive, where they're like, "Do you know the way?"
Okay.
And there's all those like those fat knuckles
Sure.
like cartoons walking around, and they're saying like, "Do you know the way?" and like all these memes about it. That came from people like playing around in VR chat, the game, and so like. I don't know if anyone really has ever heard of VR chat unless they have a VR device.
Sounds like an
outside
extreme
of
version of Zoom.
that. Well, it's like
VR Zoom.
it's not like VR Zoom. It's more
VR Discord.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's kind of like VR Discord.
Okay.
Or like it's like a big chat room
still
where
don't like
everyone
it.
can just like hang out.
I still don't like it.
But it's basically like the metaverse is trying to. They're like, oh, VR chat, that looks really cool. I'm gonna copy that and like do all this extra stuff. Oh, we're gonna put NFTs in it.
Yeah.
And people are slowly realizing that NFTs are a waste of money because basically,
Hey, man.
basically, you to sell an NFT, you have to find someone who's more stupid than you because you originally bought it. It's like, I'm gonna spend $1 million on this picture. And then it's like, will you pay $1.1 million for this picture that you can download for free? But it has a little token that says you own it, that it's yours, that it's original.
For all you people who have NFTs, Luke is coming at you, bro. He's coming at you right now.
Like it's just like there is some merit to NFTs in that it can verify art. And if someone wants their art to be verified, they can put it in. Like, it's really good for the art world. But in terms of just the really bad quality art, that it's valued very high as an NFT simply because it's an NFT, not because it's actually good art. Like, I don't see the point of it. And Meta have been like, oh, we're going to put NFTs in it. And it's like, okay, cool.
Market for it, man. Listen, I think we cover that on the next episode of the quarterly report. Until then, cheers, guys. Blessings, peace in the Middle East. This has been Preezy
And
This is
Smitty.
Smitty signing out. Cheers.
Cheers. We didn't get to talk about Morbius. Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop in and say thank you for listening to our first episode of our brand new podcast, The Quarterly Report with Smitty and Preezy. We actually do have a Instagram account. If you haven't already checked it out, you can go over to Instagram. We are at the tag at Smitty and Preezy Pod. That's Smitty spelt SMITTY and Preezy spelt PREEZY. You can find us there on Instagram, and we will be setting up our other platforms soon enough, so that you can all sort of reach out to us and ask any questions and just let us know your thoughts. Also, make sure to leave us a rating. It'll really help us to get this podcast out there. And yeah, just thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, rather. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming along, and we hope you have a wonderful time. Until next time. Peace out.